here to speak to you regarding SB 868, and I'm really grateful to you, Chair McCarthy, Chairman Casano, our Vice Chairs Needleman and Gupel, and also ranking members Hwang and Zullo for raising this bill for a public hearing. If you would indulge me, I would like to yield my time to Christine Siegel. I am happy to answer any questions, but if the clerk could let her into the Zoom, I'd be happy to yield my time for her to make some comments.
So I am here, and I want to thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you to the committee, and especially thank you to Representative Devlin for yielding her time to me. I'm Christine Siegel, and I'm speaking today on behalf of myself and my husband, Don Siegel. We have also submitted written testimony for the committee's consideration. Don and I are both licensed mental health providers, so we recognize the important contribution that community residents, often called group homes, make to the lives of individuals and to the character of a community. We have seen firsthand the ways in which group homes have enhanced the quality of life for our clients. Also, we have an adult niece with special needs who is herself a group home resident. We are grateful for the opportunity Claire's group home provides her to live in an age-appropriate setting with supports to be as self-sufficient as possible and to be a member of her community. So given these professional and personal experiences, Don and I have a strong interest in and offer our support for State Bill 868. As we understand it, the bill proposes language that would clarify the definition of a community residence in our existing state regulations. By specifying what is, and more importantly, what is not, a group home, the proposed language would limit the spread of those facilities that are not truly community residences. Most importantly, it would prevent for-profit medical facilities that do not offer the stable housing that is characteristic of a group home from co-opting designation as a community residence. For-profit medical facilities have as their primary purpose the generation of revenue and thus benefit from short-term residential stays. In contrast, group homes have as their primary purpose long-term housing stability for their occupants, who then become integrated members of their communities. Additionally, the proposed language stipulates that community residences qualify for state funding through the Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services. Such state funding is accompanied by regulatory oversight regarding fee structures and quality of care that will further limit for-profit businesses from operating as group homes. Finally, the proposed language excludes facilities that require a certificate of need from obtaining group home status. This exclusion distinguishes group homes, which are designed for long-term residents, from medical facilities that have as their primary purpose the delivery of healthcare services, which could require little or no residential experience. Taken together, the exclusion of for-profit facilities, the requirement for state funding, and/or the exclusion of certificate of need facilities helps to clarify the unique features and primary purposes of group homes. So, as we understand it, the proposed language of State Bill 868 upholds fair housing protection specifically for community residences. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Siegel. It's very nice to see you. I wasn't expecting you. So forgive me for being surprised, but I'm going to turn it over Senator Hwang and then Rep. Arnone.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and welcome, Dr. Siegel, and welcome, Representative Devlin. If I may, through you, Madam Chair, ask Representative Devlin if she could articulate her rationale for raising the bill. And I know she is a strong advocate of her community that may be impacted by this said proposal. But can you offer your perspective as a state legislator looking at as a champion of group homes and protected communities to kind of articulate this clarification. Ms. Devlin.
Thank you, Senator. I appreciate that. And let me be perfectly clear and, straight from the get-go. The intent of this legislation is in no means to obstruct the operation or, the installation, if you will, of group homes by providers that clearly fit the protections of 83E. But it will provide much needed clarification to prevent corporations from establishing these, lavish residential medical treatment facilities, if you will, that they benefit from with extraordinary profits. And what's interesting as well for this committee, I think that for zoning, which is a matter that you all have cognizant of, companies that misrepresent themselves specifically to seek a change of use in a residential property under a particular name, and then use a different name to follow a process that group homes don't do. It's not required, which is to get a certificate of need. They are blatantly bypassing the regulations that are in place, and I would think this committee would be quite alarmed at that.
Thank you for that clarification, and I appreciate that. Dr. Siegel, as a mental health professional, we are in the throes of a very challenging environment, and mental health has been discussed many a times. And we also have the incredible challenge of substance abuse and addiction as part of our current culture, which is an incredible challenge. And your background in that area, your articulation of this definition clarification is in no way undermining the importance of mental health support, substance abuse support. And I would like for you to articulate the tremendous difference in the rationale of the concept of this language of 8-3E, which purports to support community homes and group home dynamics, and why it's so different than the parties that may be taking advantage of this. And this is in no way looking to undermine the importance and the support that's necessary in mental health and substance abuse and addiction and any of our protected classes. Can you articulate a little bit more about that distinction that you have in regards to the definition of this versus the importance that we all place as a broader community on support of mental health and substance abuse, addiction, and any of the protected class?
Yeah, thank you, Representative Hwang, for that question and that opportunity. I think I'm particularly focused on, the unique features of a group home and what that provides and the type of individuals who benefit most from a group home. These are individuals who, due to a range of disabilities or impairments, are not able to be fully independent as adults, but require some supports to live as self-sufficiently as possible for long-term in communities. And I think long-term is the key here, that these are people who for years, like my niece Claire, would exist in a community, become part of the fabric of that community and residencies. It is one option within a range of services, health and mental health provided. Other types of services are shorter term or more transient. There certainly is a need for, as you said, addiction support services among the range of mental health needs that we have. And those are more transient. They could be 6 months to a year, 18 months. And people move in and out of those and then on to live in other communities. And it's my understanding this language serves to distinguish those two types of treatments and supports and also two types of populations needing services.
Senator, could I also address that for a minute, if you wouldn't mind?
Absolutely, Representative Devlin.
Just to, I think, tap onto what Christine was saying, right? Group homes are just that. They're homes. The residents of those homes, that's where they live, and they are intended to be able to integrate into a community. They go to school, they go to work, they go to the library, and they come home to their group home facility. These medical treatment facilities, which are required or limited even by insurance for whatever insurance they may take, is very limited. These people leave their home, they go to a treatment facility for treatment, and then they go home. But let me add, this is not at all about whether or not there is a need for treatment, right? I mean, I don't know if you guys saw the article today, I think it was in the Connecticut Mirror. And this committee is fairly sizable. I will share that my family has directly had impact of the loss of life due to opioid addiction. And as one of those statistics, I would imagine we're not alone. This touches so many people. But the point of this legislation is to be able to prevent companies, major for-profit companies that come in to states like ours where there may be gray areas and specifically take advantage of those. The laws are intended to provide clear guardrails and clear rules. And that's what SB 868 would provide. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Representative Devlin. And I'm so appreciative of the emotion that you expressed and the passion you have in clearly defining this. And what is clear to me is, and through Dr. Siegel, that you are incredibly aware and supportive of mental health, substance abuse, and the protected populations. Let me be a devil's advocate, if I may, for those that said, they don't want it in specific neighborhoods and that there's a challenge. Let me ask of that from the standpoint of what would you say to people to say your just reaction to protecting your, quote, neighborhood? What would you say to the substance of this bill in the clear distinction of the language and the definition to a protected community home or group home dynamic? What would you answer to the critics that would say, goodness gracious, you're just only interested in your neighborhood?
So Tony,
Representative Devlin.
Oh, fine. I'm happy to address that. Also, let me state that when these companies did come in to purchase these residential homes to create these luxury treatment centers, right? It was in a very down real estate market. But the reality is group homes have protections. And within the community where there are proposed 2 medical treatment facilities that have taken advantage of this law and quite frankly, fraudulently represented themselves to get a change of use and then went to seek a con. I'm sure you're all familiar with the laws, the protective laws, but there are also some limitations in terms of distance that certain group homes can be from one another, density within a community, and they take away from that. And in fact, near one of these homes, a family does have plans to turn their home into a group home to support one of their children to have a place that they can live successfully. This isn't about not in my backyard. This is about protections for legitimate populations that are intended to be protected by laws. And it's about major for-profit companies that are bypassing those protections, violating zoning laws to be able to profit lavishly from this crisis that we are seeing not only in our local communities across our state and across our country.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. And what even brought it further to my attention and this committee's attention is in our previous public hearing, we had a taxation issue of our nonprofit group homes with our local municipalities. That inspired a lot of engagement, a lot of conversations, and the purpose. And I remember distinctly for all the advocates like the Kennedy Center, Oak Hill, and all the really tremendous nonprofit organizations that host group homes, that they're doing it as a residence for a protected population. And the distinction that was struck to me is they are fulfilling an important public mission in creating a home environment for the protected population, and they coexist as residents in a home in that community. And we talked a lot about the tax exemption requirement with our municipalities, and that really struck home with me, is the fact that the distinction with clarifying this definition is the point of for-profit entities, entities that do not require any subsidies of federal or state funding, and require certificate of need. Those three criterias are distinctly different than what I heard in our last public hearing from the group home advocates that are looking for tax exemption. So I appreciate your clarity on that and further distinguishing and why this statute is necessary for clarifying the definition of group homes as we explore tax exemption statuses and things to that effect. Let me close by simply saying it is important for me to hear and reiterate for the advocates of this bill, in both you, Representative Devlin, and Dr. Siegel, that mental health, substance abuse, and the protected class is absolutely essential and critical to the mission of what we have as a community. And you support that idea. Would that be correct?
That is correct. And I would also like to take the opportunity to address the not in my backyard question that you proposed, Senator Hwang, if I may. Personally, I'd say the biggest nuisance in my backyard right now are the deer who are eating the grass. But I think I'd like to draw the committee's attention to the benefits, not only for the individuals of group homes, but for the communities in which a group home exists. And the research literature in psychology is pretty clear on that group homes as homes for long-term residents do have a benefit on the community. The community becomes more inclusive, more diverse. It is sensitized to the needs of individuals with disabilities. It provides opportunities for volunteerism, and in essence becomes a more caring community. So group homes that are truly group homes not only benefit the individual residents of those homes, but the communities. I think Representative Devlin has made a good point about for-profit corporate entities coming into communities. They would have a different purpose, and in my mind, would not have that benefit on the community. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Siegel. I'm trying to do multitask. I apologize.
Yeah, I know.
Thank you very much for both of you for your time and testimony. I want to thank the Madam Chair for her indulgence of time as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Hwang. Representative Arnone.